That should be good. So just taking a little seat down on the mat. Maybe it's sitting on a cushion with your legs crossed, or it's tucking a little cushion under your legs and being on your knees. Either way, we're going to take Rudra Mudra or Surya Mudra, which is where we link our fourth finger or ring finger to our thumb, palms up, and we're going to begin closing the eyes and just lengthening the breathing. Breathing in for 2 and breathing out for 2. Breathing in for 3 and breathing out for 3. Breathing in for 4 and breathing out for 4. Breathing in for 5 and breathing out for 5. We're going to continue this counting in of 5 on an inhale and in for 5 on the exhale. So it's nice and calm and ready to start a new chapter on the mat today. Pressing pause on everything that we've been up to today. I'm just taking the next 40 minutes just for us. I'm going to take this opportunity to thank you all for joining me on the mat, but I'd also like you guys to thank one another and to thank yourselves for coming to class today. Often that we get to take some time for ourselves, so it's something to be grateful for. Maybe while we're here present, we want to dedicate our practice today to someone or something, a situation or a thought or a hope for the future. Just to ourselves, just spreading those positive vibes all around to our loved ones. And if you'll join me in taking Untitled Mudra, prayer over the heart, we're going to begin the class with an Om together. We're going to inhale and exhale out any excess breath, and then inhale together and Om. So inhaling, exhaling, inhaling. Opening up the eyes, we're going to begin with a warm up. So we're just going to take our hands on behind us on the mat, nice and wide, just really opening up that chest here. Just a second. I'm going to raise the arms, keeping that really puffed up chest here, raising up those arms towards the sky Really flexing every finger, really stretching that torso. Joining the hands together, maybe in a fist, maybe in Kali Mudra, pistol fingers. Taking the hands either side of the ear, nice and tall, stretching up. And exhaling, we're going to bend at the elbow, take our hands to cactus arms behind us. Really opening up through that chest here. It's really good. And we're going to take the hands behind us now, join them together in a fist, binding them together, and we're just going to lean forward. We're not moving the arms, we're just leaning forward, just to really let gravity take its place here. And inhaling back up. Going to place the hands on our knees, and we're just going to counter that pose by bowing the chest in the middle, really tucking the chin into the chest. Sort of a preliminary cat-cow here. Lovely. Shaking it out, we're going to place the right hand on the head, taking the left hand onto the shoulder, and we're going to open up that side of the neck here. Something that we do when we're stressed is that we tend to hunch up the shoulders towards the ears. So we really just want to counter that here, making sure that we're letting some breathing space come to this area. Keeping our chest nice and tall and our back straight. Lovely. We're going to release the hands. Taking the neck over to the other side, placing the left hand this time on the head, the right hand on the right shoulder, and we're just going to gently open up that area here. Breathing deeply. Every exhale, we're maybe just lowering that shoulder a little bit more, really getting into that space here. Lovely. Great. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to roll onto our all fours here. I'm going to go to the side so you can see me. Keeping the feet flat for now. We're just going to come into our cat, sorry. So we're really pushing out through the chest up towards the sky, letting that mid back, almost like we're sort of pushing up the ceiling, pushing up the sky with our backs. And exhaling, releasing, lowering the belly, taking the hips high, taking the gaze up on the wall ahead of you. And coming back into our cat. Maybe this time we want to sort of go forwards and backwards just to really get into that stretch here. Maybe you want to take the hands and really push each finger pad down on the mat. And reversing, coming into our cow. Maybe this time you want to go side to side with the hips, really getting into that stretch here. Maybe you even want to tuck the toes so we're really, really static, really getting in that drive and that energy going here. Lovely. And from here, we're going to take the right hand, placing the feet flat again, taking the right hand and the left leg, opposite limbs basically, and we're going to lift them up. One straight line, lovely, nice and strong. And exhaling, tucking them in to tap each other, placing them out again. Nice and strong. Bringing them in on an exhale, inhaling back into our position, and then we're going to take the hand towards the back, and we're going to take that foot in our hand and really open up that hip here. It's a really nice pose for opening up hips and for the back. Keeping that gaze, find your drishti, find your static point. And taking the hands down, shuffle around a little bit, and we'll go on to the right side this time. I'm not quite sure why I started with the left leg. We're going to take the left arm and the right leg. I think I was just going with the arms, and we're going to lift them up, exhaling to bring them into tap, inhaling out again, exhaling, bringing them into tap, stretching them out nice and strong. And tapping them in one more time. We're going to take that hand around towards the side, taking the right foot, with the left hand, opening up that hip, seeing if we can raise those hips a little bit higher, and releasing down. Lovely. And from here, we're going to take our right leg, and we're going to bring it 90 degrees to the rest of the body. We're going to take that hand on the mat, come into the inside edge of the left leg, and we're in our side plank variation here. So it's still early days. We're not going into our full side plank. It's just a nice way to begin. And from here, maybe we want to lift that leg up in the air, the left leg. And lovely. And bringing that hand down, bringing that leg down, we want to come into our gate pose now. So we're lifting our right arm off the mat, reversing that stretch that we just felt, and coming back to the mat. Lovely. I'm going to come to the other side. We're going to go on to the other side now. So taking that left leg 90 degrees from the body, left hand's on the mat, right leg is on the inside seam of the foot, and right arm is up, stacking those shoulders one on top of another. Maybe we lift that leg. Really strong here, guys. Lovely. And from here, coming up onto the foot and just reversing that into our gate pose here. So our left arm now is up over the body. Nice big stretch here. And from here, we're going to come onto our tucked toes. So we're just going to tuck those little toes in here and come to sit on our knees. It sounds easy. That's what they want you to think. Okay. So while we're here, we're going to do a little bit of a different wrist warm up. I'm going to come so you can see me here. We're going to take the right hand and we're going to fold it down and use the left hand to just apply a little bit of pressure just to fold that wrist in. Lovely. Making sure that we're staying up on those toes. Maybe we can feel it a little bit now. And we're going to reverse that. So the left hand now is down, the right hand is up. It kind of looks like a cool, symbol from maybe a kung fu movie. I feel like anyway. It's just a really nice wrist opener. Lovely. And while we're here, I'm just going to raise those arms up in the air, and we're just going to power open some fingers, making a fist, powering it out, powering all around. And when we're here, we're going to open up the legs nice and wide, make the feet flat again, and we're going to come into a really wide-legged child's pose. Taking those hands long along the mat, we're going to make a fist, and we're going to use this nice child's pose just to really open up the wrists, cycling them around one direction, then the other. There's no rest in a 40-minute flow. No real rest anyway. Lovely, guys. I'm going to take my socks off because we are going to go into our first down dog of the day. On an inhale, coming up onto the toes. And we're going to lift the hips, come into our first down dog. And feel free here to pedal out those feet. Really work into it. Maybe you come onto the heels, the toes. Maybe you bend the knees. Maybe you just shuffle from side to side. Whatever you need to do to really get comfortable in this down dog. Because we'll be doing a lot of it. Okay, from here, on an inhale, taking the gaze forward, we're going to ripple the body forward into the plank. Nice, tall, high plank, nice and strong. One straight line here. That looks great, Laura. We're going to come down onto our forearms. So we're in our lower plank now. Keeping that body one straight line. And we're going to come back up again. One arm, then the other. And we're going to lower the knees. So just a couple of inches above the ground. Hovering them up. Using that core and sending the hips back up high into our down dog. Again, feeling free anytime we're in down dog, just to really work through those ankles. On an inhale, rippling the body forward into our high plank here. And then maybe try a different arm than the other, coming down into our forearm plank. And coming up, one arm, then the other, in our high plank. And exhaling, coming into the hovering the knees a couple of inches above the ground. Remember, the hands stay in the same position this whole time, sending the hips up high into our down dog. Breathing in, breathing out here. And rippling the body forward once again, coming into our plank. Coming into our forearm plank here. Lovely. And we're just going to hover here, taking a breath. Lowering the knees and coming into our Sphinx almost automatically. So we're just placing the hips on the ground, lifting the gaze up in our Sphinx position. Lovely. And tucking the toes once again, bringing those hands back to where they were before. And we're going to walk those hands and feet to meet each other, coming into our forward fold. Lovely. Maybe taking the first finger and the second and the thumbs and wrapping them around the big toe. Just taking a bind here just to really get into that hamstring muscle. Lowering the head. It's a nice stretch. As much as you need to, bend the knees. If it's uncomfortable. Maybe we take our hands behind the head, just at the bottom of the head and the top of the neck, and just let gravity just open up that little space on the back of the neck. Lovely. From here, placing the hands on the mat, we're going to come up vertebra by vertebra into our candlestick pose, lifting up those arms, taking Kali Mudra, pistol fingers, nice and tall, maybe coming up onto the tiptoes if it's possible. Nice and tall, nice and long. One big stretch, tucking in that stomach, tucking in the glutes, lifting up the kneecaps. And lowering those heels, taking the hands down either side of the body, getting that chest opener that we did in the beginning, and using that to be our arm position in the Tadasana here. We're still pushing up through the leg muscles. We're still tucking up through the belly. It's a nice active pose, even though we're just standing. Okay, and from here, we're going to take the hands up once again. I'm going to come this side. I don't know why I keep turning over here. Taking his hands up again, taking Kali Mudra. On an inhale, we're going to lean over towards the right side, keeping those shoulders where they are, keeping the rest of the body where it is, with really just opening up from the middle, taking the stretch onto the left side, exhaling, and on an inhale, coming back to center and going over to the left side this time, feeling that stretch along the whole right side of the body. And keeping the hips where they are, the feet are where they are, the legs are where they are. We're just moving from that middle back, middle abdomen area. And coming back to center, lifting up tall, and we're going to come through the heart line with our hands on Anjali Mudra, folding at the waist, rolling ourselves back down again towards the ground. Lovely. And from here, we're going to take one foot back, then the other. We're in our down dog. Nice and easy, right, guys? Wrong. From here, we're going to place the forearms down on the mat, and we're in our dolphin. We're lifting up those toes to as close as we can get them to the hands without doing any damage to our bodies, and we're just going to pulse forwards and backwards. You can feel it in the core, you can feel it on the back, you can feel it in the arms. And pulsing for 3 more. And lowering those knees down as far back as they can go so that you can get your forehead or your chin on the mat and really feel that nice stretch, the puppy dog stretch this is. Lovely. From here, we're going to bring those hands back in, coming into our tabletop position. Both knees are on the mat. And on an inhale, taking that right leg, bringing it towards the outside edge of the mat. So it's the 2 hands are inside the mat. And we're going to pulse here in our lizard. It's quite a nice pose for really opening up those legs and hips. And maybe we can shuffle that foot in towards the middle, taking the hands onto the knee and opening up here in our low lunge. Exhaling here, taking the hands either side of the leg. We're going to swing ourselves back and we're just going to tuck up that toe towards the ceiling in our half split here. Coming back forward, we're going to keep going, heel toeing that foot towards now the inside edge, towards the left side. And we're going to lower down the bottom of the leg into our pigeon pose. So the hands are over that leg. The gaze is up. If you need to, feel free to take a block, take something to place on behind your right hip here, so you don't have to really strain yourself. What you want to do is give the body a little something just to give it support. I know I mentioned bricks in or blocks in my email, but it's just a good thing to have around if we getting ourselves into a bit of bother. And it's a good pose. Lovely. And from here, removing any bricks if you have it available, bringing up, tucking that back leg, coming up back into our down dog. We're going to lower the knees, and this time bring that left leg forward into our lizard. I'll spin around so you can see me. Again, those 2 hands are on the inside of the foot. We're on our leg, we're on our right leg, bent and kneeling on the ground. And we're just pulsing backwards and forwards here. Just getting a nice little opener going on the left side. Lovely. And from here, we're going to heel toe that foot into the middle of the mat, placing each hand either side of the foot, coming up into a low lunge. We've got both hands pressed onto the top of the knee. Maybe this time try opposite hands just to really get balance into that body. That's what we want really. And we're sort of pulsing or just leaning into that nice open hip stretch here. Lovely. Inhaling, coming back into our half split. So we're flexing those toes towards the ground, straightening that left leg, taking the gaze up. Remember, we want the back in all positions to be more or less straight. Lovely. Coming back forward, we're going to keep heel toeing that foot towards the right hand, and we're going to lower down with that bent leg, with that left leg. I've gone a little bit too far with mine, but we could take the hands above the foot and really use them to stabilize us. Proudly puffing out that chest like a pigeon. It's a nice pose for opening the hips and also just taking a moment. We hold a lot of emotions in our hips, it's said, so don't be alarmed if you cry at an advert or something later. Okay, lovely. And from here, tucking that toe, we're going to meet in the middle and come into a squat. So the hips are the feet are kind of hip width apart, and the hands are in Anjali Mudra, prayer over the heart, and we're using those elbows to bring us in. If you need to, if it's easier, take a brick, take a block, pop it under your bum, and just, because what you want to get here is that sort of open leg stance. And you want to make sure that your chest and your shoulders and your back is nice and flat and nice and open. What we don't want is to be hunched over like a little crab. Lovely. Okay, from here, we're going to take that bind again onto the toe. So we're first and second finger and the thumb, and we're going to come up into our forward fold. Lovely. Maybe seeing if we can take the whole hand under the foot, bending the knees if you need to. Just really getting that nice forward fold, getting the blood flow back to the head. I think we don't really get enough of that. It all seems to pull in our feet because we're constantly walking around. Lovely. And we should be at the top of our mats, which is great if we are. And from here, we're going to bend the knees, placing the belly flat onto the thighs. We're going to bring ourselves up into a chair. So the feet must be visible, the toes must be visible under the knees. We want to tuck in that tailbone, tuck in the belly. We're not out like a little bootylicious baby. We're nice and tucked in. You can still see those toes and the arms are up. And from here, we're going to place the hands in Jenerally Mudra, prayer posture over the heart, and we're going to twist over to the right side. I'm on the wrong side. I'll come over here. So tucking that elbow against the knee to really use that position to open up into a twist. Taking the hands nice and wide if possible. Lovely. And from here, we're going to take that right leg, we're going to step it back into our warrior two. Lovely. Remember that the heel needs to be going into that instep of the right foot. Breathing in, we're going to come into reverse warrior here, taking that right hand behind the back to touch the thigh, left hand over the head, and back to our warrior two. Taking the left arm onto the thigh and curling that right arm over the head into our side lunge, nice and strong. And lifting ourselves back up again. We're going to clasp the hands behind the back into our humble warrior now, leaning forward to the corner, the diagonal front corner of the mat. The aim of it is to really get that elbow, that shoulder into the knee. It's not always possible. Our bodies have a way of being built very differently. Lovely. And from here, we're going to come up into our high lunge. So taking that foot where it is, but coming onto the ball of the foot, lifting those arms up. And finally lowering, bending into that front leg, the left leg, straightening that back leg, lifting up the gaze into our crescent lunge. Oh, what's happened? While we're doing this, guys, I don't know what's happened here, but I'm just going to ask you to open up those arms while we're here in our crescent lunge, and opening up to the side, coming back up to center, opening up to the other side, over the right side. Okay, we're still here, that's good. It took me away. Lovely. And while we're here, we're going to lower down with that right leg, lowering onto the mat. We're twisted already. So we're going to place the right hand onto the left knee. With the left hand, we're going to grab that right leg, right foot, and just bring it in a little tight. Bring it in nice and close, really stretching out that front thigh muscle. On second thoughts, maybe I should have stayed on the other side. Lovely. And opening up to the right side and taking the foot this side. Just really getting that nice stretch in here, straightening up here. Lovely. And coming back up to our down dog. Pedaling out those feet, we're going to do the other side now. So from here, we're going to come forward with our right leg into our warrior two. I'm going to flip over. All this flipping and flipping. Into our warrior two, lovely. And we're going to take that right hand over the head, take the left hand behind the back to touch the right thigh into our reverse warrior. Making sure that we've got a nice 90-degree angle in the leg and keeping that left leg straight. Coming back up to our warrior two, we're going to place the forearm under the thigh, then lift the left arm over the head into our side lunge. Lovely. From here, we're going to stay where we are with the legs, clasp the hands behind us. We're going to fold forward towards the front of the mat, trying to get that shoulder against the knee in our humble warrior. And lifting ourselves back up again, we're going to adjust that left leg, the left foot, sorry, coming into our high lunge. So we're on the ball of the left foot and exhaling as we bend into that front leg, taking the gaze up into our crescent lunge. And using this time while we're here to open up first into the right side, back up to center, onto the left side, woo! Trying not to fall over. And back up to center. We're going to lower that left leg, left knee onto the mat. And we're going to come over, taking that left hand onto the right knee and grabbing that foot with the right hand. And we're going to open ourselves up into a lovely twist. Coming back up to center, taking that hand onto the knee as we then take the left hand with the left foot, or the other way around. Lovely. From here, we're going to meet in a kneeling position, and we're just going to do a little bit of hip, a little bit of core work here. So we're going to take our hands out in front of us into a Z shape. We're going to lean our whole body back so the whole of our feet stay on the mat, our lower legs stay on the mat. We're just tilting ourselves back, using the core, using the thighs, and coming back up using the glutes. One more time. Inhaling as we come down into a Z shape. This is a really nice prep for any hip work. And coming back up to center. This time we're going to take both hands, flexing the toes so you've got a little bit of height, taking both hands onto the ankles if it's possible. If not, keep them on your thighs. And we're going to take ourselves forward, pressing that chest open like we did in the beginning, really opening up with those hips. Taking the gaze behind you, if it's possible. And if it's even more possible, flattening those feet, using the glutes. Whatever you do, do not look to the side. Taking the hands onto the thighs as we come out of our camel. Lovely. Working our way into a seated position. We're going to do a little bit of twisting, taking that right leg over the left, taking the right thigh or the right knee with the left hand, placing the right hand behind us as we open up, keeping that back nice and straight, keeping that chest nice and open. It's a nice way to end the back bend. Coming back to center, taking the legs out in front of you, giving them a little shake, giving them a little tap on the ground before taking that left leg over the right leg, grabbing the knee with the hand and opening up, taking that left hand on the mat behind you, nice and strong. If possible, you can bend at the elbow, get a little bit more of a twist by pushing the elbow and the knee in together for a deeper twist. Well done, you guys. This has been a very strong class. And from here, we're going to find ourselves in a little ball into our cosmic egg, squeezing in that body, squeezing in the base and the tummy and the bum and the feet and the arms, squeezing ourselves into a little tiny space before releasing ourselves down to the mat. Just getting some nice rest in here. Bending the knees. We're going to end with a little bit of leg work. I'm just going to place those legs up to the sky, so the flat feet are on the ceiling. We're going to lift just once and maybe twice, taking ourselves, keeping our palms on the mat, taking ourselves just 2 inches above the mat. After 3 times, give yourself a nice squeeze. And relax in Shavasana. I'm aware that we don't have much time left, but I just wanted to say thank you guys for coming. Feel free to extend this Shavasana for as long as you like. I'm gonna say my goodbyes, placing my hands in third eye. I hope you enjoyed the class, everybody. Namaste. And I'll see you all